good. All right. So my name's David Garber. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an associate professor and the interim department chair at Florida International University. And we were awarded our studio, I think January 2020, so right before COVID hit. And so that changed some things, but anyway, I'll go through a brief, 10-minute overview of kind of what we've done at the studio and, kind of the plans for the spring here. So the studio is advanced building and bridge construction with precast concrete, and the precast plant partner is Core Slab Structures Miami, and the representative there is Louis Compress, and our regional partner is the FPCA and Deep 2. So the main two activities under our studio were to develop a hybrid pre-stressed concrete design course. So this involved moving some of the lecture materials online and to allow for more in-class demonstrations and industry presentations. And through this, I created a video library of presentations, example problems, and different demonstrations that are hosted on YouTube. The plan was to participate in the PCi Big Beam competition each year. Due to COVID, we've been able to, and some scheduling with the precast plant, we were able to participate one year in the last, I guess out of the last two. And the students really enjoy that. And as part of that, we have an in-class design competition, which I'll talk about a little more. And then also through this, I've been able to have a lot more industry presentations. So typically I have eight presentations from 8 different kind of sectors of the precast industry during the class. So the second part was the creation of a new course, precast concrete design. And so this is kind of more of an overview or component design course. So the pre-stress is more kind of behavioral focused, and then the precast was more component based. And it goes through basics of a fully precast, how to design a fully precast building and a fully precast bridge. So just some basic components that you can get into one semester. A summary of all the activities through the studio is hosted on my website there at concrete.fiu.edu. And so this has a summary of the different activities on our studio page. So in the development of the precast concrete design course, so not just in the last semester, but over the course of the studio, I developed the full note set for this, which was a total of 633 pages of typed notes and then 962 slides to accompany the notes, and then have typically 4 presenters from industry come and present. And then I guess I also had a review of all the materials by one other professor at another university and several people from industry who contributed as well to some of the notes development. I also developed some of the example problems for videos, and they're posted on my YouTube page as well. So I last taught this course in fall 2021. Last February, I was appointed our interim department chair, and in July we had our 3rd child. So we have a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old. So part of my agreement in taking over interim chair is I didn't teach any courses in the fall. So anyway, it changed a little bit the plan in the studio, but something I had to do, from a personal and professional standpoint. But back the last time I taught in fall 2021, I taught it as a cross-listed course. So there were both undergrad and grad students. And it was a synchronous in-person modality, so just like a traditional class. And I was able to bring in 4 guest speakers from different parts of the country through Zoom. So 2 from the building side and 2 from the bridge side. Chuck from JVI, Mike and Rob from Gate, Carter from Sarins. They're a heavy lift company. So in ABC, they do lifting heavy components, SPMT moves, lateral slides, things like that. And then Mike Coolmo, a designer with a lot of experience in ABC and precast bridges. So one of the activities that I was able to do in the last, during summer 2022 was, so I'd taught the course previously as a special topics course, and I was able to get it into our course catalog, which needs to go through a review from our college or our university and the state university system. So I was happy to get that through. So it's a precast concrete design is in our catalog now. So sorry, I'm going over time, so I'll be quick for the rest of these. With a hybrid pre-stressed concrete, I developed a note set and accompanying videos, and all these are posted, or all the videos at least are posted on YouTube, and I have a web page or a page on my website that has kind of a summary of all the videos and how I use them in the course. I also went through we have a Quality Matters online course development or kind of oversight review, and Quality Matters is a national review. So part of that was making notes accessible and having an organized Canvas shell, and a review of your course learning objectives and module learning objectives and how they fit in with asynchronous, synchronous activities and your assessments. So I went through that in spring and summer, and it's a Quality Matters course. And another change to this was I had initially planned on this just being a hybrid course where the asynchronous learning components were online, and then the synchronous components would be in person. And FIU came up with this new modality called Online Live, and I taught the course in spring 2022 under that new modality. And this semester, so part of being chair is I hear a lot more student complaints about things, and one of the complaints was that we had too many online electives. So this semester I'm trying to teach this pre-stressed concrete course with both undergrad and grad sections, and both in-person and online modalities. So there are 4 different sections being offered. So anyway, 30 students total, and but anyway, I'm trying to cater more to the students here this semester. So we're seeing how it goes. And in spring 2022, I had 7 guest speakers come in. Part of the hybrid modality is a lot more time for these presentations. So trying to bring different people from different sectors of the industry, and I'm planning on a similar guest speaker lineup for this semester. And then last semester and this semester I'm planning, or last semester I had in spring 2022 I had a tour and planning the same thing for spring 2023. And then again, I use the PCi Big Beam competition as the final project, and so I kind of introduced the project early, and the students are grouped into teams, and then at the end of the semester we have a student competition. So all the teams present their designs to a panel of industry judges. The judges and I discuss, and we select 2 winning teams, and those teams go on to construct their beams and at Course Lab and then test them at our lab. So here's the link to my YouTube page. I have a number of subscribers and views. And other activities. So the 2023 PCi Foundation Professors Seminar will be in Miami, and helping to organize and host that at FIU. And then I've also been leading the PCi pre-stress in a box revisions, which will hopefully get finalized in the next month. So with that, I'll conclude and take any questions or.
One of the things that we had talked about that I thought was really interesting was how you kind of a best practice or interesting practice that you did was the way you did the final. for students when you were doing everything online? Can you talk just a little bit about how you had the students write their own final?
Sure. And I still have them do that.
Yeah.
But yes, I'll let me pull that up and I'll share it. Okay. All right. So, right. In general, in my classes and at FIU, we've seen an increase in academic misconduct and cheating. So, with everything shifting online, I wasn't exactly sure how the online proctoring and things worked. So I was trying to come up with a new exam format that would try to limit the amount of cheating that could be done. So this was my solution, and I think it's working okay. So I'm still using it now. But so I have the students. It's a take-home open note, open book exam, and essentially the students create their own exam, and then they solve the problems on their own exam. And as part of the exam creation, they need to include a narrative or an explanation of their problem. So they create a problem and they explain to me why their problem is original. Tell me something about, they tell me something about the difficulty level. If there's something that kind of tricks or trips up students as they're working through, maybe they included that in their problem. So they include or tell me something about that. And then they tell me about the appropriateness. So how does this problem test the major concepts in a specific module? So I skipped over it, but depending on if they're undergrad or grad students, they need to pick 3 or 4 different modules where they create one problem for each, or for the module that they choose. And the problem that they create needs to be solvable by hand. So it would be something that they would feel comfortable getting if we were having an in-person traditional exam. So I give them some guidance. They provide 2 different documents. One is the problem statements and narrative, which I run through Turnitin, and then the other is their handwritten solutions of the problems. And then I have a rubric, so they can see, pretty clearly what their grade will be. Normally they're creating their own problems, so they do well on correctness and neatness. And then, I give them some guidelines on how I'm grading originality, difficulty, and appropriateness. So anyway.
What kind of response have you gotten from the students to it now that you've done it a few times?
Yeah, I think I get pretty good. I mean, the good students enjoy it, and I get a lot of comments that they didn't realize how hard it is to write exam problems. The average students kind of, just, I mean, I feel like I give them enough guidance that they know how to create a problem, and they might lose some points in the originality, difficulty, and appropriateness categories, but they still do pretty well as long as they're following the notes. And it's been pretty clear who tries to use an online help service or who hasn't been paying attention in class. So I guess one of my goals was to give the students a more creative way to show that they learn to understand the material, and also try to, as I said, at FIU, and I'm sure at other universities, there's been an increase of ways to cheat on exams. So it's been easier for me to pick out the students who who are trying to use some of those means. But in general, I think overall, I think the students have done better on this with this exam format than than the traditional exam formats that I used in the past. So the average is higher. So anyway, I don't know if it's easier for them or if a better format, but anyway.
Oh,
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Aren't you afraid after that chat GPT is available to the students right now, that they might even ask the question and find it, and you can't even check plagiarism?
Yeah, right. So that is a new resource this semester. So yeah, I'm not sure how that'll affect things. I haven't tried running a chat through or anything. Yes, but yeah, I may need to revisit it. We at our last faculty meeting, we talked a little bit about it, and there are some suggestions on how to use chat GPT, rather than trying to fight it. So like asking the students to use it to develop an initial response, and then have a written response analyzing the chat GPT response. So I I haven't thought about that with this assignment specifically yet. So but
Okay.
yeah, that's a good question.